All right, robots. I mean, aliens.
That's close. That's almost right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Double Issue. This is episode 6, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm Quentin Pongratz, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Daniel Poole.
And this week is another world-building episode. This week we're going to talk about race of space aliens, and we're going to world build on that. But before we get to that, we got an email we should check out. Let's see. All right, that is our email thing, I guess. Hey, longtime fan, first time emailing. Oh, thanks, Josh. Can I be a guest on your show? Thanks, Joshua Freeman. What do you think about that, Daniel?
Oh. I didn't think anyone actually liked us enough to be a guest on the show. But I mean, I guess?
Okay, Okay.
Oh, hi. The email just magically put me into the voice chat with you.
That's how email works, right? That's how we do all of our podcasts, is through email.
Yeah, we do. We send bits of audio, one conversational bit at a time.
Which makes all the likes and the uhs all the more questionable.
But let's welcome our guest, Josh.
Hi.
Hey.
We seeded the fact that Josh would be here on this episode in a previous episode where we mentioned a Josh.
Yes, a mysterious Josh.
Episode 3, I believe, we mentioned Josh.
Yeah, if you were looking through the clues, they've been there all along.
How do we want to do this thing? We're still relatively new at the world building side.
Yeah. I've got some world building questions we could ask.
What's the natural environment like? What is the linguistic situation on this world?
Yeah.
Some of these are better than others.
The language question is one that is makes a lot of sense though.
Does it make sense to ask it as, what's the linguistic situation on this world?
No. That's a weird question, man.
Are there more than one language?
What are language? So I had a thought about that with the linguistic question, because I was like, well, that's kind of a weird question for some of what we write about. But I had the thought that the Martians would have a really weird language if they're telepathic. It's like maybe when they write, they imbue the words and the letters with telepathic feelings. So you're not just reading the word, you're reading the emotions behind the words. And after I thought about that, I was like, that's a really cool idea. I don't know if that's something that'll come up too often.
I think we decided we want to pick an alien race.
Right.
And just kind of dive into that. Did we want to pick one that's been already in an episode or a new one?
I'm torn. I think I was counting up all the different ones. We've got the Centauri that have been mentioned a couple of times. We've got the red alien.
The Wreck-It Ralphs. Actually, the plural is Rex-It Ralph.
Oh, interesting that they put the plural at the Rex and not the Ralphs. Martians.
Yeah, fish Martians. Do we have any others? We mentioned, the Vacationers.
Yeah. There's
race, briefly.
the Supermen that are the vacation for heroism. I don't know if there's any others that are, super evident.
All right, Josh, do you want to pick one?
Pick a race?
For us to go into?
Do I want to? No. I don't think you should necessarily go into the whatever Amy Danger's race is. Right? Is she an alien?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
If she is an alien, it should not be something you'd touch on just yet of what specifically all her powers are from being alien. So, not her race.
Do you want to go for the Centauri?
Sure.
The only thing we know about that one is what they call a cheeseburger.
Oh, yeah. What do they call a cheeseburger on Centauri Prime?
Did they actually answer that question? I don't think we do.
It's a Royale with cheese.
It's the same as France.
Yeah.
Centauri are just French people. We've exiled them to Centauri.
Way back when the French made a rocket ship.
And they went to the moon.
They were trying to go to the moon, and then they just went straight on past it. And then it's Centauri Prime.
Okay. Episode over. Good episode.
And through the magic of time warps, sort of like a Planet of the Apes type situation, the planet's just been there forever.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So they have a French accent. We've also answered that what is the linguistic situation like? They have French accents.
We come from space. Oui, oui.
They don't speak French.
They just have the weird French
They
accent.
speak English with French accent.
But like the bad TV one.
Who was the Centauri Prime from that?
I was Aster.
Aster.
And she could fly, and I think she had some other just natural enhancements to being in the air. Like she could breathe at high speed and stuff like that.
Breathe at high speed.
Well, you know, like
Oh,
like when you hang your head out the window.
yeah, you don't need a flight suit mask.
Yeah. She
That
doesn't
type thing.
she doesn't pass out from going at like a high speed. See, I'm thinking if this is an advanced civilization, is it like a gold pressed latinum situation, or do they use like entire planets?
What?
They use entire planets as currency? What?
Sorry, I had a momentary second there where I was thinking about the movie Jupiter Ascending, and I, just kind of blinked out there for a second.
Yeah, it just reminded me of Gurren Lagann. They're just like throwing planets at each other.
Throwing galaxies.
Galaxies.
So good.
You suggested earlier that they're like refugees.
Or like a group of refugees living. Or there is some.
There's a small Centauri Prime community
Yeah.
of supered people.
I can't remember if we talked about it on air, but I had the concept of sort of the District 9 situation where there's the alien ship that has a lot of the workers on it that come to Earth.
That's actually exactly what you proposed for
Oh,
the Martians.
is that the exact same way I...
Yeah, they're also refugees.
Well, yeah, I remember that one being refugees. This is just a group of refugees.
Earth is just a welcoming refugee planet.
Earth is just a really good landing location for a lot of different systems.
That's why they built the hyperspace lane in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's just very convenient.
If Martians are refugees, Centauris not refugees?
Let's differentiate them then. This is just Centauri's still around then.
Yeah, no, because she talked about going to see her dad on Centauri Prime.
Oh. So that means there's some big event or war or something that
Yeah,
has forced some people out.
because there's some people on Earth and there's some back home.
You sure it's not just like immigrants?
I mean, I'm sure that could be too.
Like just standard immigration? Man, we need to build that space wall.
We've got to build a space wall, and the Centauris are going to pay for it.
If we won't launch enough Teslas up there, we could just make a wall of those.
Ooh.
Wouldn't they just form like a junk ring, though?
Isn't that what a space wall is?
Basically a wall.
I thought a space wall, they'd have to cover like both poles and
Like a shell. Like a,
yeah, a
and then we
space
put-
shell.
Then we put artificial stars.
Which anime was that?
Oh.
What we
inside of
need
it.
is Spaceballs, the Druid planet, Druidia.
If you build a space wall and you put artificial stars on the inside surface, then all of the immigrants can just live on the outside surface of the wall. What if it's not refugees, it's exiles?
Oh, there you go.
There was a small group that was exiled that found Earth and developed a community, possibly even
Ooh.
generations ago. So there's a bit of a build-up.
What if they launched a ship full of prisoners in the general direction of her sun, and they just ended up crashing near Earth anyway?
Yeah.
Because then you would have an event with a lot of villains around.
Oh yeah, if it's prisoners, you got some really bad prisoners, some that aren't as bad, maybe reformed.
Well, how long ago did that happen?
We could say like the 1950s, because that would give at least a generation or two distance from that.
Yeah. Then you have some originals who are still around and sets of offspring.
I don't think they necessarily have to be bad people, criminals. They could be like
Just people that are labeled not good, like by the Empire.
Well,
like
yeah.
old ruling family or something. Like,
Yeah.
we're in power now. Everyone leave.
Yeah.
Could be an interesting.
Because then you have the mindset in people's head, well, these are just all bad aliens, but they're not. I mean, one supervillain would be enough to kind of poison the well as far as public perception.
I do like the idea that there could be someone over at the other planet, at the Centauri Prime, finds out and is sent to come track them down.
those people we exiled 50 blips ago. However they measure time, they survived.
So they all got superpowers?
I think they all have limited powers, at least. Like, I think they could fly, and I think they maybe heal a little better, at the very least.
So it's possible that they're like the ones that are superheroes, like capable of being superheroes, would be like the Olympic athletes of the Centauri. Like,
Yeah.
the ones that are still incredibly physically gifted.
When I think the ones that are on Earth maybe are compelled strongly to do that kind of public service.
I think, it could just be they could fly, and then they might have a better capacity for, like, strength and different stuff like that than our people. So if you have one that's in peak physical fitness, they're just miles above a human in peak physical fitness.
Yeah.
For your routine cat in a tree, save the day kind of heroics, having a lot of disposable superheroes like that would be helpful.
Would a normal Centauri be allowed to be like a police officer? Would we have a bright situation?
I could see that.
They would be allowed, but everyone would hate them for no reason.
Super racist, but not because you think.
And also, we're retconning a Centauri was helped defeat the Dark Lord.
Yeah, that.
But we're still mad. What if Aster is like princess of that royal family that I briefly mentioned?
Oh, okay.
So she's been training to be at peak physical fitness because that's part of her duties.
That'd be cool. And then she is on the team with Captain Havoc, who's kind of also an heir to a higher up family of magic people. So that would kind of make sense that they got pushed together. I looked back at the story, and we don't actually mention her dad. She just mentioned that she went to summer vacation back on Centauri Prime.
Now it changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah, that does. She went to summer vacation to a place she's exiled from.
Well, I mean, she's like the daughter of an exile.
What if no one knows that she is the descendant of the royal family?
Tell me about your summer vacation. Well, it doesn't say she went to Centauri Prime there.
She was just talking about what the cheeseburgers are on Centauri Prime.
Maybe she just watched Pulp Fiction all summer.
That's true. It's not explicitly about her trip.
But even so, I think it'd be interesting if she, in secret, like, as a spy, went back on summer vacation to Centauri.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I spent my summer vacation plotting revenge.
Oh.
Does Earth and Centauri, do they have like a relationship, culture to culture?
I imagine probably not. Because then they would have to know the exiles didn't make it. Well, we're calling them exiles, but they're more like executions that didn't get executed.
I think it's fair to, whenever someone is exiled, if you're exiling them out into the wilderness, you're expecting them to die anyway.
Well, I think he said sending them into a
Yeah,
sun.
but was it like literally trying to hit the sun, or was it just like, you can't live here anymore?
What if it was into a black hole and then it just...
Ooh, that would make more sense as like, we're aiming for it, and if we miss by a bit, you're probably still gonna hit it.
Maybe they were like, we're going to blast you off in this general direction. We just don't care if you live.
Yeah.
Like they sentenced them to life in this imprisonment ship, but the life, they didn't really care about how long that expectancy was.
Yeah, but I think they have to assume that they're dead.
Yeah, they didn't expect the ship to land anywhere. They expected them to be exiled to the ship, drifting in space forever.
Or if they hit a planet, it doesn't matter. They should die in it. They don't have controls for emergency landing or anything.
They can fly. They don't have to do much as far as like escape pods.
Can they fly in space?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think they can fly in space.
Well, then the exile doesn't make any sense.
When you exiled us, we opened the window and came back.
Yeah, why do they have spaceships?
Well, I don't think they can breathe, though, in space.
Okay.
So, looping back around to world building plot holes, if she did spend her summer vacation doing espionage on Centauri. How did she get there?
She
Spaceship.
took a pleasure cruise ship?
I think there's a vast galactic
Travel agency?
neighborhood that Earth is just mainly not a part of.
So similar to the Marvel situation.
Yeah, or DC, like there's all these different planets that are part of the core, like the Green Lantern Corps.
Oh yeah.
But Earth just kind of got roped in recently.
Well, with heroes like Amy Dangerous, maybe they're like, nah, that seems like a lot of work to go deal with that.
So she took a back channel's way. Well, I mean, makes sense if she's doing espionage anyway.
Yeah.
But she just like
There is that one vacation species. Perhaps she got a ride with them, and then from there it's more of a straight shot to Space Town.
the Centauri on Earth are the descendants of exiled people from their home planet.
Well, do they have longer lifespans or anything?
Ooh, good question. What if they have shorter lifespans as an effect of them being stronger and having superpowers?
As the effect of them never walking anywhere since they can fly?
Yeah, the flame that burns brightest burns half as long.
I can see that. What if they use a lot of like sleeping and hibernation technology? So maybe some of their more aristocratic members hibernate a couple years at a time or something, since they've got to do space travel. Because that takes so long.
Oh, yeah.
What if there's an off switch?
An off.
Not so much a switch, but they can just go to sleep and kind of turn off aging.
Okay.
Oh.
And that helps them heal. What if that's that healing thing she had at the end?
That makes sense.
So they could just choose to kind of go into this state.
Oh, that's how they survive the exile.
Well, now they do have to be shot towards a black hole, though. There's no way around this, guys. They have to have been aimed for an execution.
Okay. Fine.
All right, so they are aimed for an execution, but
It
took
is a-
over the ship.
A failed execution. They somehow got control of the ship, or it just missed. Sometimes people calculate things wrong.
Yeah, maybe something happened, or yeah. We don't need to fill in that detail. But somehow they escaped execution.
The notes still say they have a French accent.
Because they
Okay.
still do.
Oh wait, I know why they have a French accent. Their exile pod, their prison ship crashed in France. They are French aliens. They learned the languages of Earth from France. I think that is still an interesting question of where did the space shuttle land? Because there's like that alternate story of if Superman had crashed in Russia type story where it does matter what culture an alien meets first, like who are their allegiances to.
Yeah, where did they land? That would be a good.
I mean, if they have control of the ship, they could pick.
Well, but they wouldn't know the difference. I mean, even if they did pick where they landed, like they wouldn't, unless they did some surveillance of Earth before they crashed. I don't even know if they have full control of the ship.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it doesn't matter as much as it would a Superman type character because they're not being raised by that.
Yeah.
I think we can leave a blank there, unless anyone's got a good idea for what it could be.
I have some thoughts, but I might try to explore it in a story if I do. I did have the thought, if they're landing in the 50s, maybe they were kind of part of the Martian craze, like the Roswell crash and things like that. So their ship could be kind of vaguely saucer-like, and maybe that's part of what made the alien craze at the time.
So the 50s, you're implying that the 50s of your world shares commonalities with the 50s of real Earth.
Yeah. And maybe vague, broad strokes.
When do the Martians come up from the ocean and say, yo, we've been here?
Because I know they show up for a while in the ancient times.
Yeah, but I think part of what determines if we have a Roswell's type thing in this world has Martians already said, yeah, we live here. Because I like the idea that Ichibal's been around.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Where were we?
Appearance. I think
oh
that's
yeah,
where
we didn't say anything about appearance.
They look like humans, except they have a flesh cape.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Ooh, no.
All of them wear capes because the cape is
Well,
them.
I mean, they're also naked. It's the only clothing they wear is the one that they're born with.
This is as bad as the fleshy cup hands conversation we had to have earlier.
I think I heard a little bit of it.
No. My answer was going to be vaguely human.
Yeah, I think that
There's got to be something different about them, though.
they could fly.
No, come on. Otherwise, if you're just making humans from space, that's just Superman.
Well, what about if they have a wider range of hair and skin colors? Just as
What if they have... Oh,
I
sorry.
was going to say, just as part of being in space for so long.
What if they have an ear on the top of their head? And that helps. One, it's a sick Wayside Story reference. Two, it helps them hear when they're flying.
They can hear out in front of them.
Yeah, what they're flying towards.
But only if they're looking at the ground.
Well, they have to be looking at the ground.
They can't fly with their face pointing forward.
No, because then how else would they see what's in front of them using the echolocation of the, like, they have like a, it's not a mouth, but it is a sound emitter.
Their faces are on the top of their heads.
Oh,
I mean,
with a longer neck.
it would be a huge oversight that Daniel didn't mention that in his story. But I also really like it.
Well, I was going to say, what if they have a weird bone thing in the back of their neck, so their neck doesn't, like, rip off? But no, faces on top of their head sounds much better.
No, you invited me here to be the person with veto power. I said no.
But, like, they just put their head down and then they're facing forward for normal people.
Yeah, but
It's anything but normal, but
even do they not fly? Like, say they're flying or like floating next to someone and having a conversation. Do they float with their bodies flat so that their face can point toward the person they're talking to?
Or what if they have ET necks, and so their head just kind of periscopes down and over?
Oh man,
what about next to, like, heads that can just look anywhere, though?
man,
They can rotate and spin their necks or
Yeah,
heads
like
however they need
Oh,
to.
that makes
their
sense.
head is on a swivel.
Instead of a neck, it's on a pivot. Yeah, a swivel thing.
That makes sense. That'd make it easier for them to, like, position themselves in zero-G. They could have slightly bigger eyes, like Anita Battle Angel eyes.
Oh,
Hold on. The distinction of their face being on the top of their head doesn't matter as much if the top of their head can be rotated around to the front or the top or the side, wherever.
yeah, no, I gave up on it being on the top.
Okay.
Now it just can be anywhere.
Their face is wherever it needs to be.
What if their head is like basically a ocean of skin, and all their facial features are like the boats?
Oh. Oh, that's so much worse.
That's a superpower in itself.
They can have the things where they need them to
I'm
be.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, Mr. Potato Head, but you don't remove the things. They just swish around.
That just makes me think of the video game Mohawk and Headphone Jack from the SNES. Because, like, you would jump, and instead of jumping, his head would just go to his groin, and that would be where his head was then. Because he was, like, made of clay or something ugly.
Oh.
Oh.
It was real nasty.
So it wasn't that his head would go, like, his groin would go up to his head, but his
It was
head
like-
would stay in the same spot.
It was like his head would shrink into a groin, and his groin would expand up into a head.
Oh.
So, like, he would do a backflip every time he jumped anywhere, and would do this transformation.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly.
And it was bad. It wasn't good.
I gotta see this.
Whenever you mentioned the Centauri race, you didn't realize you were making clay fighters.
Yeah. Clay Fighters is a real good game.
I think I see. He flips, but he like becomes the other orientation as he's flipping, so he lands. So he does like half of a flip, and then he's right side up at that half flip. Yeah, that's real gross.
No, it's not good. That game seems interesting because they do some weird things with gravity.
Yeah, I've played a video from YouTube, and all it is him floating around in no gravity. There's no jumping.
Go to the middle of it.
Okay, there it is. Oh, yeah, that's gross. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like that, but for their face.
Ugh. I don't know. That just seems like a whole new power set. Because could they do that with everything?
Nope.
Just their face?
Yeah, I mean, can you smell with your fingers? No.
So, maybe something like that to a less ugly degree.
I think just them being able to pivot their neck really at an extreme angle makes more sense.
Like owl-esque.
Yeah. But they could just lock it back.
Yeah.
Where they could look forward without hurting themselves.
They somehow have full control over what direction their faces face and can lock that in place in a much more rigid way than normal.
Being able to rotate their head around to an absurd amount is uncanny if you see it, but you wanted something that made them not
yes,
human appearance and facial features that float around.
Yeah, I was
that.
Was okay with skin color changes or like
they're all blue.
Isn't this wacky? They're all blue. I'm still putting in another vote for big eyes. Because that just seems off-putting enough.
So
they're just owl.
Yeah.
Owl people. Like, yeah, they can fly. I was going to say owl people that can fly.
Instead
of saying hello, they go,
ooh.
I do think this is a good time to bring up the fact that reference of a quarter pounder implies that there are McDonald's in this world.
Oh, wait.
There's definitely McDonald's in this world.
It implies that there's McDonald's.
And there's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and probably,
and it implies
Pulp
that
Fiction.
whatever this place is, they use the pound. Because a quarter pound doesn't really make sense.
Oh, well, yeah. Wait, I mean, you can use pounds.
I mean, I'm not fully convinced that she wasn't telling a joke.
Yeah.
True. She was either being completely serious and there is no Pulp Fiction, or she was telling a joke and there is Pulp Fiction. It's possible that the Pulp Fiction reference was just for the listener, just for the audience.
I'm reading as what she did for her summer vacation is she watched Pulp Fiction.
Well, I guess we'll just have to find out in her next issue.
We can sum up some of the situation. We have Centauri that might have a French accent. They have a French owl accent.
What does Winnie the Pooh sound like in French? And then we can extrapolate that to the owl character.
There you go.
Winnie the Pooh. French. Owl.
Don't Google it. You're not going to... Oh, I found it.
Oh, it's missing French.
Oh.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh owl is obviously going to find something.
I cannot not find a French version of Winnie the Pooh.
It's blasphemy in France.
Let me just French owl. Maybe this will be a good thing. Wait. Ibu. That's French for owl.
That makes sense.
Or is it? There's another word. Hold on, I got Ibu versus Chouette. I don't know how to say French. Chouette is used as cool before the word cool was used in France. Both are translated in English as owls. Both encompass many species and even genera. It is actually fairly easy to see the difference between the two. Oh! It's the difference between the owls that go, whoo, versus the ones that are like, You know how there's two different types of owls? The ones that are surprised all the time?
Oh, yeah.
And the ones that are suspicious all the time?
Yeah.
The French have two different words for those.
Ah.
That's weird.
Chouette and Ibu. Those are the two factions. The two royal factions of the Centauri. I found it out, guys.
Shwe and Ibu.
Yeah.
It sounds alien enough to American
Yeah,
ears.
sure.
So, I mean,
So, which royal family is the exiled one? The Shwait or the Ibu?
The surprised one is the exiled one. The suspicious one is the one that is now in charge.
Okay, so Aster is an Ibu. I just like looking at these pictures. What? You betrayed me? You know what you did.
Yeah. This is perfect. I'm glad the Centauri are owl people.
French owl people, it all culminated.
should they have little skin flaps or something? Or like feathers for the little surprised eyebrows?
Oh, maybe
Maybe
their eyebrows can just be wild.
they have very exaggerated eyebrows.
What if their eyebrows kind of like became their hair? Everyone is bald. And that's where all their hair comes from, is the eyebrow region.
Oh.
Aster just has beautiful flowing eyebrows.
I mean,
Yeah.
she said described as having stark blonde hair.
Stark blonde
Well,
eyebrows.
it looks like hair to other people the way she styles it.
Because it's just eyebrows combed back.
Yeah, combed back or around and up. And
Comb over.
I mean, the first time she does a hard stop, people are going to notice.
No. She has full rigid control over her eyebrows, just like her neck position.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not opposed to hair control being a power.
I don't know if it's a power that this race would have, specifically for their eyebrows.
Well, they're flying all the time. They need to, like, get out of the way. Hair?
That's why it only grows above their eyes, where it can be blown back away.
So, no on that one.
Long,
I'm having
awkward
trouble
silence.
considering, though. Really long eyebrow hair is just real gross.
You have to shift your thinking.
I guess so. I gotta
This isn't eyebrow hair. This is all their hair. They don't have to shave their legs. They have to trim their eyebrow hair that has grown down to their legs.
Oh. Ugh.
Oh, all hair.
Yeah. All hair comes from their eyebrow. Then it's like a Bayonetta situation.
Yeah.
They just make their clothes out of their eyebrow hair.
Okay, we don't have to do that. What else should we cover before finishing? We got kind of a good history of them on Earth. It's kind of vague on what they were kicked out of, but
Yeah.
that leaves room for stuff. But we have set up that there is like a royal family coup type situation.
Do we want to cover anything about culture or religion or anything like that?
I don't know if it's necessary to go into religion.
Because I don't want to have like them have a monoculture, but
What's the linguistic situation on this world?
They speak French. Are we still trying to define more of the Centauri home planet or the Centauri race of like the group of exiles on Earth?
I mean, that's what I'm asking. Do we need any more of either of them? Like, what kind of things like, there's plenty left to still fill in, but do you think we've done enough?
Was it decided fully if they had like a Wakanda type isolated beginning on
Oh, yeah.
on Earth, or was it they crashed into the middle of a city or something? Like
They crashed in the 1950 World Fair. The people of tomorrow.
I do like the idea of maybe they go into a self-exile. Maybe have a island community.
I mean, I think this is too close to exactly the other alien race we have on Earth right now, though.
That's true. Because the Martians did do exactly that.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it wasn't like go in, be secret forever, but like get your footing and make sure you're defensible before you make contact, but still try to make contact because being exiled sucks. Like you can't live completely subsistently on Earth, but try to get a footing. If you're not immediately noticed, don't announce yourself immediately.
Maybe they still operate on the spaceship that brought them? Like it can't support all of the new born Centauri, but some of them still live up there.
Up there? Is it
Like on
in
the
orbit
ship.
or is it crashed?
Like maybe they kept it in orbit.
I don't know. Maybe we have to set it not the 1950s. But what if there's a space station that Aegis had and then abandoned for a bit because they were doing something else? They had an Earth headquarters or something. And if they've not crash landed, the Centauri are in orbit and they see the space station and just kind of commandeer that.
Yeah, that'd work.
Having not heard any of your Aegis world building because I'm a terrible person, I I will have to just say, yeah, that sounds cool.
They're just like Justice League or
Yeah.
Avengers or something. I just assumed that they've had a space base at some point.
Maybe they just commandeered an old supervillain lair.
Yeah, some kind
That was
of
in space.
station, some kind of home that they could make. Yeah, I think it makes sense for them to have they have a home that is not within someone else's jurisdiction.
Yeah, but they can't all stay there,
Yeah, there's
and they don't have
there's
enough like food or.
reason for them to make contact and try to integrate into Earth society to some degree.
So what if we go back then and give them the ability, maybe not breathe in space, definitely survive in space, and survive in re-entry and whatever,
Oh,
so they can travel back and forth between their space station as needed.
that'd be cool.
What if they do that by combining their two powers of long-term hibernation and flight?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They just set themselves a course, go to sleep, and when they get there, they
Yeah.
wake up.
I actually really like that because they could do long space travel, but they would need to know all of the variables of what would be in their path to not.
Yeah,
So it would be a very risky thing to do that, but it's theoretically possible.
maybe that's how they became like a big space empire, was just shooting lots and lots of them out into space, just at random directions.
Well, then it's, why do they have a spaceship?
Well, I mean, if they can't breathe,
I mean, that's how they actually control it and not roll the dice
I
with
guess.
everything.
just early on, they kind of seeded the universe in different places with just shooting people out. What if there's an organ you can clip that permanently makes them lose their flight abilities? So maybe they were going to get clipped and then dropped off on Earth or something.
Eh,
I don't like that one.
Yeah.
no. I guess it would mean that the first generation is not superpowered, but the future generations could be. But still,
Well, I was saying that's maybe
I-
why they had an uprising or escaped or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't like the other people knowing that they're still alive.
yeah,
I like the potential story of someone coming to hunt them down because they figured out
Yeah.
there was all these exiled or expected executed royals.
we need our Vegeta.
Yeah. There's a potential for that storyline if they don't know that they've survived
Right.
and have been here for a while.
So on the list of powers, they can make a spirit bomb.
They have to learn that one from King
Oh,
Kai.
okay.
Yeah, but in general, they can channel their energy and shoot it.
They have to learn that one from Master Roshi.
Okay, well, in general, they can turn into monkeys when the moon is full.
There we go.
There it is. They all have monkey tails. I thought that was explicit.
That is what you said in the story. We forgot to mention
The
that.
only place that they grow hair is on their monkey tails.
No, that's just an eyebrow that's grown all the way back.
Ugh.
Yeah. The tail is just skin.
Ooh. Ooh.
The eyebrows grow back onto the tail.
Ooh.
No.
Little rat tail back there.
Are we done?
Yeah, it's probably good.
Let's do one quick recap. Somebody want to do that so I don't have to?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to lead this since I'm a guest.
So recap, we've got the Centauri, which on Earth are a group of exiles and or prisoners that escaped to Earth. They apparently got their accent from France. There's a
We can drop the...
I
We got what we needed from the French part.
kept
Okay.
referencing it as a joke. It's
it's
no.
canon. I mean,
I mean, it is canon, but we don't need to say how they got it.
Yeah.
They just have it. Like the citizens of Ryloth.
Yeah.
They've got flight, strength, and better physical fitness powers. And they can also sleep for long periods of time in hibernation and can survive in the vastness of space for short periods.
I think that's tied in with their healing ability.
Yeah.
Like their hibernation healing is.
Yeah. They've got big eyes, twisty necks. We didn't quite settle on like skin and hair colors.
As far as the exiles are concerned, they're mostly from the same,
Yeah.
like
from
a
the same.
limited gene pool, so they
Yeah.
have less skin and hair variations among the Earth exiles.
But then there's the royal family that's been exiled to Earth that are the, how do you say, were you going to say that? Hibu?
Ibu.
Hibu.
No H.
Ibu.
But, yeah.
And then the Shuru.
No
H on
there's
that
no
one.
R in there. The Shoet?
Shui.
Shui.
Just go to the Google thing and hit the sound button.
That's work.
They're the overthrowing people. They're the current rulers of Centauri, home planet.
Yeah, and so there are vague space empire. And what was the other thing? There's something else. Oh, and the only one we've really talked about so far is Aster from week 2.
Yep.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took some twisty turny paths to get there, but I think that's pretty solid.
I like that the French thing actually played a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pleasant surprise.
How much will that make them look like the Centauri from Babylon 5?
Do they look like owls?
They have big eyebrows.
Well,
I didn't know
We've
that was
we've nixed that living eyebrow stuff. That'll have to be my own alien.
Yeah, you should have
that I
that
designed.
living eyebrow hair control.
with the face on top.
It's actually gonna be like Kill la Kill. It's eyebrows that have invaded.
Oh. I like it.
Like how everyone's gonna start wearing fake eyebrows, and it's like, no, guys, they're aliens trying to take over.
This has been fun.
Well, thanks for being on the show, Josh.
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. Being your roommate, I have a bit of.
Spoilers. I was gonna reveal that in episode 18.
Oh no!
We can edit it out. We can just edit that.
Well, yeah, like it's interesting that I have gotten like a little bit of behind the scenes view of it, but this is a fully behind the scenes view of it, and it's pretty fun. I like it.
Do you want to read some credits with us?
Sure.
You can find me, Daniel Poole, at Twitter, at Gwair, that's GYWAIR, or on WordPress as Calculating Normals.
The art for the show is by Lisa Prather. You can find her stuff at lisapratherart.com or on Instagram at lisapratherart.
Our website is doubleissue.show.
Twitter is at Double Issue Show.
You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/doubleissue.
You can email us at doubleissueshow@gmail.com. That's how we get our guests, apparently.
Yeah.
And next week will be a story episode. We'll be concluding our stories from this last week.
And now let's pass it off to Future Quentin.
I think you mean Laser Quentin. Laser Q. Since it was just the one song this week, you'd think they'd be able to do it themselves this time. But fine. I get paid the same whether I read one song credit or 5. Or if Daniel had his way, 13 different sirens and portal sound effects. Which is to say, nothing. Can you imagine if they paid me based on how many likes and ums I cut out? You should see the cutting room floor. If I rolled around, you'd mistake me for a simile. Oh yeah, the song. Freeharmonics by the Freeharmonic Orchestra, used under the Creative Commons license and shortened down for use as our intro. Alright, Daniel, what do you got for us this week?
Or the narrator for the first arc of the Adventure Zone.
Yeah.
I love when sometimes he's like, but don't ask me. I'm just the narrator. That's not how he sounds at all.
Yeah.
You
Nailed
nailed it.
first try.
I thought I was listening to Adventure Zone.